2 nights ago, two teams worked the kinks out in Game 1. The Islanders flexed their offensive muscles first. The Capitals responded, but never found comfort. New York's netminder was rock solid throughout. His young teammates shot with veteran poise. DC was stuck with a loss of home ice advantage. The series opener comfortably in hand for the visitors, with reason to be satisfied. Tonight, the Caps have to punish the Isles. On the path to leveling this best of 7, we go War Eagle on Comcast Sportsnet. The first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs on Comcast Sportsnet is presented by Volvo. The hustle and bustle of hockey. This evening, the New York Islanders return to Verizon Center. Scene of the crime from Wednesday night, where the Capitals have a score to settle. It's Game 2 of the Eastern Conference first round. Buckle up tight, Yaroslav Halak. The Caps have you in their sights. John Carlson plans to prime the pump for Washington and protect a surprise starter in goal. Philip Grubauer, you're the man. So great to see you again. Along with Craig Laughlin, I'm Joe Beninati. We'll make way for Al Koken very soon. The big news of the day concerns the Washington Capitals having to go without Braden Holtby tonight. Philip Grubauer gets thrown into the fire.
Yeah, Braden a little bit under the weather, will not go, and Gruby, who has NHL experience, gets the nod. He has 20 games under his belt, over 200 as a pro. When we have seen him, he's very quick, athletic, and nimble. In his only game this season, he made 23 saves as he downed the best team in the National Hockey League, the Anaheim Ducks. It came down to a shootout victory, 3-2 for Gruby.
Locker, the 23-year-old German, joins this interesting list of first-timers.
Yeah, Mason, Defoe, Carey, Kolzig, Varley, Nubi, and Holtz all have been in his shoes before. He's a very confident young netminder.
The Capitals, boy, did they pick a horribly bad time to play one of their worst games of the season back on Wednesday. Nothing seemed to click.
The Capitals couldn't play any worse. The Islanders, I don't think, can play any better. And it was that combination that doomed the Caps. It was both tangible and intangible things that went wrong. The tangible things, they couldn't get out of the zone. They turned the puck over way too many times. Their passing was off. They could not connect the dots on any passes. The intangibles, the players talked about their compete and battle levels weren't high enough, and they did not play with that so-called urgency. They're going to have to do all those things much better tonight to knot up this series at 1 apiece.
Eric Fair was asked about the opener, and he expressed these thoughts on how he'd like to see his team respond.
We just need to break out a little bit cleaner. I think they had a pretty good forecheck, and they read the way we wanted to break out. I think if we change a few things and just be better outlets for our D-men, we'll be a lot better off.
Let's try to accentuate some of the positive here. We both thought that Marcus Johansson brought his best to the rink in Game 1.
And when he's at his best, Joe B, it's about his legs. He was flying around out there. He gets his 32nd playoff game tonight. He was in on the forecheck, one of the few Caps that was. He was taking the body. He was wheeling and dealing through the neutral zone, which they're going to have that type of speed here tonight. Set up the only goal by Brooks Lake to Marcus, and he put it home. A fine-looking shot for his 5th in the postseason.
Speaking of that, the volume of shots for Johansson has definitely been turned up.
Sure has. 5 seasons with the Caps, 3 times a 10-plus goal getter, 3 times 40 or more points. The big difference this season, he's utilizing his shot and shooting more. 31 more shots than he had last season. Has a nice, tidy shooting percentage this season at 14.5, tied with Brouwer.
We continue to set the table for Game 2 after the break. We'll do so with a treatment on Brooks Lake, the longtime Cap who can make a difference on Comcast Sportsnet. Game 2 of the Eastern Conference first round series between the Islanders and the Capitals. It's almost go time. Special delivery on CSN. The old adage, Locker, there's no substitute for experience. Brooks Lake still has the ability to influence these games.
The most tenured Cap, having played 734 games regular season and playoffs. He's had an up and down season overall, but here's some of his fine work and what he can give you. He'll play with Glenn, Cross, and Wilson tonight. That trio has to be a factor.
In the playoffs, he's been known to produce a timely tally or two.
9 goals, 31 points. Good on the face-off, averaging close to 19.5 2.5 minutes. By the way, 15 points his last 24 playoff games overall.
Let's get it going. Expect this evening's clash to be brutal. If Game 1 set the physical tone for the series, this encore will be a big hit on Comcast Sportsnet. Comcast Sportsnet coverage of Capitals hockey is being brought to you by Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance. Sport Automotive, Chevrolet, and Honda. Carl Alsner's a sport fan. B12. Visit Sport Automotive. Carl Alsner's a sport fan. B12. Visit sportautomotive.com. MedStar Health, official medical team of the Washington Capitals. Mercedes-Benz, located on the web at mbusa.com. The Virginia Lottery. And by Pentagon Federal Credit Union, the place to do better when it comes to home, auto, and personal finance. Verizon Center in Washington, D.C. on a Friday night. Thanks for starting your weekend with us. The Stanley Cup playoffs, Eastern Conference, first round Game 2 on Comcast Sportsnet. Alex Ovechkin, clear-sighted, trying to get his team level in this best of 7. Joe Beninati, Craig Laughlin, and Al Koken with you tonight as the Caps take aim on Yaroslav Halak. The net-minding duel is presented by Volvo.
Well, for the Islanders, it doesn't change. They had a career year. Islander highs went 38, 17, and 4 for Halak. And fans, it's Philip Grubauer getting the nod in Hershey this year. 27, 17, and 5. A goals against under 2.5. One game played in the regular season against the Ducks that he won 3-2 in a shootout. Holtby's down and a little bit under the weather, will not get the nod.
Braden did not practice yesterday, was not on the ice today. Grubauer and Justin Peters went through the morning workout at Kettler Iceplex, and the Capitals choose Grubauer in this huge game. We're underway. The referees are Dave Jackson and Steve Kazari. Pierre Rasico and David Brisebois have the lines. Johansson turns, looks to stuff there. Johansson, Backstrom, Brouwer getting the start. Barry Trotz's lineup at the top of the screen. There are changes in the third and fourth line. A long-range drive that caught the outside of the meshing. It'll bounce back through center, and there's John Carlson to grab for Washington.
Well, right off the bat, Joe B, good signs for the Caps. 2 connected passes, something they had a tough time in Game 1 connecting on against the Islanders team that led to a chance.
And then that was a brutal one that sends in Oposo, and paddle down. Grubauer was ready. Niskanen floats it back through center. Ovechkin finds it, turns for Joel Ward. Ward lets it go off the shins of the defender there. Hickey in good shape for New York. A pass back for Niskanen that jammed him, and it's 3-on-3 the other way. Oposo lets it go right to the chest of Grubauer, and he'll squeeze.
Right off the bat, the opening face-off, the Capitals spring Marcus Johansson. We highlighted him on how well he has played in Game 1. Well, here you'll see the play, and that last shot, just a redirect right in front of the net. Mojo's hands come up in the air. That was after the wraparound. There's the shot, hitting the side of the net for Grubauer. Nice to see an early save. Hard slap shot off the flank. They let her fly from everywhere. Oposo tees it up anytime he gets the puck. Good stop right into the belly.
Kyle Oposo, who turned 27 yesterday, will take this draw opposite of Eric Fair in the Washington zone. A stalemate with possession for Fair. He'll clear in from center. Yaroslav Halak barking out the instructions. Chimera quickly on the forecheck for the Caps, putting a bump onto Thomas Hickey. Chimera scoops one to the goal mouth, answered by Wisnowski. Chimera changing the point of attack now. Had his shot deadened. The Islanders look to respond as Oposo works through center, and Chimera got in the skating lane. Beagle racing after the 38-year-old Wisnowski. Caps still in the offensive end. We're in the second minute. First period of play, a lively Verizon Center. As you would imagine, with a home team trailing in this series, 1-0.
And I think the players feed off that, Joe. They've been rocking and rolling here right through warm-ups, and it pays off because players feed off that in this huge game here tonight.
Linesman took a heavy bump there. It was David Brisebois who was slow to get back up. He is classically trained in the art of fortune telling. Here's Craig's Voice on Value, presented by Morgan Franklin Consulting.
Very good, my friend. Will you take a look? Better blue to blue for the guys in red. The Capitals between the blue lines offensively have to move the puck effectively for Barry Trotz. They also have to defend, holding up the speed of this Islander team. So it's two-pronged. Offense and defense must be excellent between the blue lines here tonight.
Much heralded fourth line for Jack Capuano's out there now. Martin, Cizikas, and Clutterbuck stirring up the energy for the guys in the white sweaters. Clutterbuck turns. He's rattled there by Light. DeHaan feeds. Shift it down low, and there's Green. All the way back down into the New York zone. Halak will scoop it to the corner. Glenncross sends it wide of the goal. Green will scamper to play and wrist it off of Matt Martin. A second chance that floats high. Two teams even in full strength, approaching the 3-minute mark of a scoreless first. Shots on goal are one apiece. Martin throws another big hit. Matt Martin, who dealt 8 of them out in game 1, as Halak will cover. We have enough time to say hello to Al Koken.
All right, Joe, thank you very much. We want everybody involved tonight on Twitter as we ask you the following question, and it's a very good one this evening. Which Capitals player do you think will be the difference maker in this series? Get your responses in to hashtag Capitals Talk. A couple guys making their debuts this evening could be factors in that as well.
Tom Wilson back in the fold. As Backstrom wins the draw, I would love to see number 19 factor heavily in the Caps' comeback efforts. Been a long time since Nicholas put his name on the score sheet as a goal scorer. He's out there working with Johansson and Brouwer again, as Carlson will reverse for Orpik. Caps get out of there smoothly. Johansson sends it out wide. Cross rink on the delivery. There's Brouwer on a touch pass for Johansson. Letty is close by. Very active, fluid skater on the back end for New York. Carlson away from the pressure of Kulemin, who's turning to the bench for the line change. Johansson guns it in from center. Halak will slow that down.
Yeah, that's got to be harder or up high on the glass here. The Capitals have done two things really well so far. Number one, getting the puck below the tops of the circles, which they didn't do effectively in game 1. And number two, establishing a cycle. Just about every shift, they've had a good cycle to the right side or left side of Halak.
Fans here at Verizon Center Locker are definitely doing their part. They have been loud in the first 4 minutes as Alsner will clear in. Hickey turns to fetch. Ovechkin's right there, knocked down by Hickey. Ovechkin and Ward and Kuznetsov on the ice. They try to activate the D there. This is Franz Nielsen to spin back through neutral. Jack Capuano again wants the line change for New York, keeping the shifts short in the early going. Chimera brushes this back behind Halak. DeHaan on the lip of the boards, anticipating that. Good read by Eric Fair. He and Beagle work in concert. Jason Chimera on the wall. Towards the cage. A routine stop there with a blocking glove for Halak. DeHaan shuffles it, looking for the speedster Grabner. Loose in front, and it's backhanded wide by Beagle. Through center. Carlson's hand pass to Orpik will bring play to a halt. Notes for you to consider this evening, folks. Brooks Orpik stayed true to form in game 1.
Led all skaters with 9 hits, 306 hits in regular season, third in the National Hockey League. In 08, he led everybody when it comes to hitting the playoffs. The Caps 9-6 in games 2 and losing the first game of the series. Halak is 5-2 against the Caps, 2.24, 9-4-1 in his last 7 playoff games.
This Islander team very good on the road against division rivals during the regular season. It stayed that way back on Wednesday. They were 10-3-2 against the Metro on the road this year. As Clutterbuck works in, here's a 2-on-1 with Cizikas. Clutterbuck fires, he scores! Cal Clutterbuck.
There's that so-called best fourth line in the National Hockey League. They catch the Capitals pinching, and they're off to the races on a 2-on-1. And Clutterbuck, what a shot to the roof past the catching glove of Grubauer. Here's Greeny getting caught trying to hold the line. Off to the races, Clutterbuck and Cizikas, Martin trailing, and there's that snapshot to the top corner. Very hard for a goalie to adjust. Notice he's a right shot on the left side. He sort of pulls it back and then pulls the trigger under the bar. The Islanders in Game 2 have a 1-0 lead.
The 8th-year pro, Cal Clutterbuck, who played an Islander team low in Game 1, played less than 12 minutes in that first contest, effectively starts the scoring for the guests again, as Ward hopes to respond on the very next trip. Evgeny Kuznetsov marked by Boychuk. Franz Nielsen sends it on around. Ovechkin covering at the point. A long wrister that was turned away, nearly broke the stick of Oposo. Josh Bailey, who struck in Game 1, working back through center with Franz Nielsen, who dishes it into the corner. So many different Islanders had either goals or assists in that first outing. A 4-1 decision for New York 2 nights ago here.
And it was pretty amazing because a lot of the guys that were on the score sheet were first-round picks. They've really built this team up through the picks they've had during the draft, Joe. You know, 4 different guys picked up points.
Loose in front, looking for another of those first-rounders there, Bailey. Bunts it back for Wisnowski. Hickey to the high slot. The redirect goes wide, and the Islanders have the Caps pinned in their own zone here.
Capitals lucky there. If that gets on Bailey's stick, it's 2-0. That was some pretty fine stick work down low, just about overpassing to the advantage of the Caps on their last sequence in the Capital zone.
Wisnowski on for Strome. He was matched up there with Orpik. Brooks Orpik, who levied 9 hits in Game 1. Marcus Johansson, the only scorer for the Caps in the opener, floats it into the corner. Washington trailing by 1 on a night without Braden Holtby in the goal. Backstrom turns, points it for Gleason. Wrister on the way. It's kicked out of there by Tavares in front. Backstrom on a reload. He buzzed it wide.
Well, you were calling for Backy to score there. That's a great opportunity. He really didn't have much the first game. That sort of rolled from up here. It looked like it rolled off the heel of his stick and didn't get all of that to get that good shot on Halak.
He's long overdue. No goals in the last 24 games for Nicholas. Halak will again slow it up for Straight. Veteran blue liner who acquitted himself nicely in the opener.
It was a good compliment. I thought their group as a whole and their pairing back there, Joe, played pretty well. Straight and DeHaan stepped up and played very well. They were in the face of the Caps. They gapped up well, and they didn't make any glaring mistakes.
12:20 to go. Opening period, New York on top. Cal Clutterbuck has the strike for the Islanders. Anders Lee turns. Lee plays it back to point position. Chimera there ahead of Boychuk. Cizikas opens up south of the goal line for Martin, and a kick-out save for Grubauer.
And that's going to be a high sticking penalty against Mike Green as he clipped Matt Martin in the cheek. The Islanders will have a power play.
And they'll do so on the other side of a commercial break. 7:54 into the contest. Clutterbuck on an odd man rush. A beautiful shot has lifted the Islanders to the lead. Islanders on top by 1. Capitals 1 man down. Mike Green 2 minutes for high sticking. Locker Star Treks presented by Toyota. 2 blue liners who impact the game in many ways.
Yeah, Johnny Boychuk, a ton of play in Game 1, over 23 minutes. Leads this team in so many categories when it comes to playoff action, including his Stanley Cup ring. On the Capital side, it's John Carlson. Very similar numbers. Led the team. 2 defensemen, and more so for Carlson to be involved in the offense. We saw so much of that this year. That's going to mean comeback if the D are involved.
Super important penalty kill here for Washington. The Isles were 0 for 2 in Game 1. Brooks Orpik got hit up high in the mouth. He's begging for a call from Kozari, who says no. The Islanders stay a man up. Oposo on the entry with Tavares, the second leading scorer in the NHL during the regular campaign. Franz Nielsen waits for it. Delivers below the goal line intended for Lee. Orpik is there off of the shins of Brouwer. Oposo drags it loose, and Brouwer will make the good stick check to clear.
And that's the type of battle quotient they need. Brouwer and Oposo pushing and shoving as they get to the benches, especially on the penalty kill. It's that little extra battle that can often nullify a power play.
Boychuk rockets one in from center. Grubauer is there to slow it down. Niskanen to help. Matt Niskanen watching as Fair has it on his backhand, but Boychuk timed his pinch extremely well. Strome is covering at the point. Nelson turns it topside for Wisnowski. Islander man advantage, another 44 seconds. Good takeaway for the Caps as Fair strolls through center. Leads it on for Jay Beagle. Beagle on the toe drag will backhand it way wide. It starts the breakout for Bailey. Zooms through center. Crisscrossing with Brock Nelson, who had 2 goals Wednesday. Wisnowski on the feed. Down low looking for Nelson. That was way too hot to handle as Boychuk will keep it in. Wisnowski slowing the tempo now. 20 seconds in the man advantage. Boychuk thought about the slapper. Fair was in the shooting lane. Wisnowski drags it around Carlson. Strome touched it on for Bailey. Gets it right back. Strome on the feed. Boychuk fires. It's waved at there by Grubauer. Washington will get Mike Green back right now. Boychuk leans. The feed for Bailey to fire, and he hums it high. 5-on-5 play. Washington survives the Islanders' first power play on the night.
Islanders pretty good zone time. Close to 1:20 in the Capital zone. Survival is correct, Joe. That was a huge penalty kill here in the first.
Ovechkin turns, lets it go, and he buzzed that one wide. We've crossed the midway mark in the opening period. Yevgeny Kuznetsov with a puck for Washington. Turns one to the slot. It came right on through Ward. And Clutterbuck, the goal scorer for New York, brings it ahead 3-on-3. Clutterbuck lets another wrister go. Snapped out of the air by Grubauer, and he'll hold. 9:32 left in the opening stanza. Cal Clutterbuck chewing his way to a lead here in Washington against the Great Eight.
The New York Islanders with the 1-0 lead. Joe Beninati was earlier talking about the effectiveness of this New York Islander fourth line. They certainly made their presence felt in Game 1. Even though they didn't have an overwhelming amount of ice time, it certainly was more than the Capital fourth line. And you see that they combined for 16 of the Islanders' 36 hits. And obviously we've seen their effectiveness tonight. Clutterbuck with the goal. They also drew the penalty that gave them that last power play. Guys, they are a handful. We'll see if Barry Trotz matches fourth line versus fourth line. He did it the first 2 shifts, but not on the last one.
Al, the Cal Clutterbuck shot to score and beat Philip Grubauer at the 5:14 mark was a dynamite shot. It was the shot of a 40-goal scorer, not someone who tallied a mere 7 during the regular campaign. Kuznetsov lets this one fly, blocked by DeHaan. Pawns it off for Alsner, sprinkles it down low. Ward has the puck for Washington. Roughhousing with DeHaan. Niskanen a long way from the goal. To the high slot. Kuznetsov buzzes that one wide.
Yeah, they're just misfiring. They're getting some quality opportunities. Both Ovechkin, Kuznetsov, and company, but just have one shot on net.
Ward cranks it up. A stick save for Halak. The shots on goal now are 5-2 in favor of New York in the first 11 minutes of this contest. Yevgeny Kuznetsov. DeHaan there quickly with a step up. It's the 27-year-old Boston native Brian Straight with a puck. Moves it down the alleyway as he absorbed the hit from Brouwer. Carlson shovels it around, but not out. Tavares coughed it up. Johansson on the feed, Washington away smartly with Nicholas Backstrom. Backstrom fights through Wisnowski's check, sends one on the timing to the front, and it's Halak who steers it away. Ryan Strome, 21-year-old winger, will skip one in. Tavares to the corner boards. Johansson jimmies it free and rolls it back to center where the Isles will regroup.
And again, they're regrouping because they have 3 guys back. They're playing that so-called left wing lock. Very tough to get through unless you indirect the puck off the wall around one of the defenders.
Lee and Nelson and Grabner out there for Coach Capuano. Barry Trotz in the midst of a line change for Washington as Grabner takes a peek. Throws it into the corner for Leddy. Beagle is out there. Backstrom and Johansson. As this is scooped off the glass back to safety. A whistle and a hand pass called against New York.
The Capitals trying to charge the net in game 2 here against Leddy and the defenseman. You must have a strong drive. Check out the right side of the screen. As Backstrom gets around the defenseman Wisniewski, there's the timing play. He's actually just throwing it into space. He doesn't want to hit the man on his tape. That was Brouwer going to the net. You don't have to always aim for a stick, Joe. You put the puck in a space to allow a player to skate into it. He was trying to find Brouwer in front of their goalie.
That's Craig Laughlin. I'm Joe Beninati. Al Koken is your rinkside reporter. This is the NHL on Comcast Sportsnet. Curtis Glencross in there like a buzzsaw on the forecheck for Washington now.
Didn't he learn that last game, Halak?
To the slot like on a backhand. Glove save, Halak. And he will cover long enough for the whistle as this one's a powder keg in front of the goal.
Love it. They get in trouble once again. Do the Islanders because of Halak trying to play the puck, trying to get it around the net. And an opportunity. He lost his stick on that play, but here it is. He has trouble because he has two guys, one on each side coming. There he loses his stick. Gets caught in the netting, and the Capitals moving around. Just couldn't pierce the twine as he's left scrambling there. Makes the best save of the period there as the Capitals try to jam one home. One more look. There he is without the stick. And there's the Capitals. Brooks Light, Wilson, and Glencross causing a real good commotion.
Yarho Halak, 38 victories, as Locker mentioned, a record-setting season for him on Long Island. Staked to a 1-0 advantage in this one. At the 5:14 mark, Cal Clutterbuck on the board. Halak in a net-minding matchup, not with Braden Holtby, but with Philip Grubauer. If you missed it during the day and at the top of the telecast, Holtby under the weather. He is ill, and Grubauer gets the goal crease tonight for Washington. Franz Nielsen there sprints to the boards. Nielsen matched up with Kuznetsov. Joel Ward trying to dig it free. Long-range wrister from Alsner didn't get through the pack. Matt Niskanen will clear deep into the Islander territory. Kuznetsov waits. Niskanen through the traffic, had it blocked. Kuznetsov fires. That's off the outside of the goal. Possession time now for Washington. Ward cradles it away from the pressure. Long drive, Niskanen. It dipped wide of the cage. 6.5 to go in the first. Franz Nielsen rattled there by Ovechkin. Islanders have possession. It's Oposo who clears. The Capitals are trying to hit everything that moves.
Yeah, trying to move their feet. Alex Ovechkin, 2 hits in that last play. They see him honing in, trying to disrupt the play on their breakout. The Caps have done an excellent job the last 45 seconds to a minute in their zone.
DeHaan pinned in along with Straight. This one comes off the dasher and on down. Icing will be washed out. Marcus Johansson chips it for Brooks Orpik. Veteran closing in on 100 Stanley Cup playoff games on his resume. John Carlson will retreat. Strome has his sights on him. 5-on-5 play. The Islanders have had the only man advantage in this first period. The Clutterbuck goal came at even strength. As Carlson flings it in, Barry Trotz wants to change him up. Backstrom there with a booming hit on Hickey, who responds well. Gleason sets it. Johansson deadened by Wisniewski. Another chance for Marcus, gobbled up by Nelson. Kuhlman too far for Lee, and the officials are going to say that this is icing against New York. Islanders in front by 1. You can join the team today, folks. Purchase your 2015-16 full season tickets. You get guaranteed access to purchase these 2015 playoffs and the opportunity to use the pay-as-we-play payment option. Become a member of Club Red 365. Call 202-266-CAPS.
Caps have to keep up the heat here against Capuano's team. They're a really tired bunch. The Capitals have had an excellent forecheck going. This is the one shift you got to jump on them before they can get a line change.
Caps have had 11 shots blocked in the first period, the first 15 minutes. Chimera towards the front. It dribbles through the paint.
Yeah, second timing play. We showed one earlier with Brouwer. Another one there trying to find Beagle going to the net.
Chimera hoping for 83 to get a stick on it. Leddy turns the corner. Rides his way through center. Forgot something. Chimera will toss it back into the Islander zone. Boychuk booms it off the boards. Tom Wilson, great to see him back in the lineup. Sustained that injury when he took a slap shot to the back of his head in Detroit. Danny DeKeyser let that one fly. Niskanen off of a dismal -4 on Wednesday will clear it. And this is going to be whistled down offside against Washington. 4:26 to go, opening period. Halak and the Islanders have the lead where they want it in D.C. Krieg with this window of opportunity, the game's only goal.
And it is a dart to the top shelf by Clutterbuck. Off wing, right shot, puts it right under the bar over the left shoulder of Grubauer. It all started when the Capitals' Mike Green got caught at the blue line. That led to an odd man break. And Clutterbuck finds some space as you look at his numbers.
I wonder if he ever keeps that mouthpiece in his mouth. It's always dangling.
A lot of guys just chew it.
Dentist loves that.
Yeah.
Alsner will play ahead as Letty will retreat. Took a chop there from Joel Ward. Islanders break out swiftly. Oposo turning wide. Fires off the blocker of Grubauer. Philip Grubauer has 5 stops. Surprise emergency starter. Justin Peters sits behind Grubauer with Holtby ailing. Listed as ill for this game 2. A long stretch intended for Ovechkin, right to the doorstep where Halak will paddle it away. 3:45 with which to work in the opening period. Clutterbuck from Martin and Letty. The only goal as we hear a whistle. And we share this on the Toyota League leaderboard. The regular season point scoring race was a very close one.
3 of the top 6 players right here tonight. Jamie Benn, 4-point night to finish off the season. Jumped over to Ferris, Crosby, Ovechkin, Voracek, and number 6 is Nick Backstrom. So we've got a lot of firepower on display here in this series.
Backstrom, the 4th time in his career that he's had a 60-plus assist season. He's out there now digging in and winning another draw. Capitals had the upper hand in face-offs in game 1 by a mile. It was Backstrom who was 14 of 20 for himself in the game and very good against John Tavares. Here's a strip, working in Oposo on the deke, and he zipped it wide.
Capitals got lucky there. Brooks Orpik, the puck bounced on him, and that allowed Oposo, who's had a hot hand when it comes to playoff scoring. He just ripped one, had Gruby down, but didn't have much room to put that biscuit.
Johansson taps it for Backstrom. The 2 Swedes trying to get Washington level in this opening period of game 2. Best of 7 series that will switch to Nassau Coliseum. Kuhlman working in. Game 3 at the Coliseum Sunday, covered nationally on NBC. Backstrom on the crisscross overlap. Carlson fires. Good save there by Halak. And the rebound bounced away from Backstrom below the goal line. Nicholas recovers. Saucer pass to Chimera just off the bench. Turning on Kuhlman. Gets a little pick. Chimera tied up in the corner. Beagle. Sharp angle to the front. Fair couldn't redirect that one on the cage.
And DeHaan, no stick. His stick is to the right of the goaltender. No one's giving him another one.
Gleason cheats in from point position. Fair has it for the Capitals. Around DeHaan, who's without the stick, 44 in white. Chimera matched up there with Kuhlman. Capitals will flood that side. Islanders don't get it out. Good keep there by Gleason for a moment. And then Tavares, who had given his stick to DeHaan, can't do much with that.
2 minutes for carrying.
Gleason fires right to the glove of Halak, and he'll squeeze.
Great chance for the Washington Capitals trying to open it up. One chance at one end by Oposo leads to transition the other way. Look at that beautiful pass by Backstrom to Carlson. That's an excellent stop. Did not get the puck to lay down flat for Nick Backstrom. Look at how wide open the net is. But the puck bounces on Nick Backstrom. At the other end, it was Oposo around Orpik. There he gets the bounce. Watch him try to calm it down and step around the goaltender. On that play, you just see how nimble and quick Grubauer is, taking away the sharp angle he was trying to put that puck in.
Ovechkin steps to the interior of the defense. Didn't have enough time to pull the trigger there. We drift below 2 minutes to go in an opening period. Halak with an outstanding save on John Carlson. Carlson had 5 of his 6 shot attempts blocked in game 1. That one was clean and labeled.
And notice how fast the D came up in the play, and that's really got to be their game plan the rest of this hockey game and series. Their D have to be involved. jump in the right holes.
Capitals were blaming their execution in game one. How have they fared so far tonight?
Much better. I think they're much better. They've had more zone time than they did in game one. One mistake again can be magnified in the playoffs, and that's what happened here in the first.
Clutterbuck toe drag and another good snapshot that went wide.
He's got his shooting stick tonight, doesn't he?
I guess so. Boychuk on the advance for New York to a vacant wing. Green will step up into the rush for Washington. Final minute of the opening period. Clutterbuck one-on-one. Clutterbuck cross rink from Martin. That pass was deflected. Mike Green gathers it in for the Capitals, checks the scoreboard, sees 48 seconds with which to work. Gleason joins the rush, gets in and fires. That was a dipping drive, wide of Halak's glove.
And notice how their D got out of the way, allowing that shot to come from Gleason. Again, a D part of the rush.
Wilson in there for the Capitals along with Light. The puck bouncing free for Leddy. He spins it around the boards and Martin will hack it back to center. 20 seconds away from Zayo Intermission Live with the NHL on Comcast Sportsnet. Nicholas Backstrom pressured immediately, forced back by Bailey. 10 ticks to go. Verizon Center fans encouraging the Caps to move ahead with it. Johansson doesn't snare that pass. And the first period's in the books in Washington. A 1-0 lead for the New York Islanders, who lead the series by the same score.
Well, Joe B, the Caps much better legs than in game one. They got energized by the fans. They have to continue to skate and continue to forecheck to chip away against this Islander team.
The Isles will catch their breath between periods 1 and 2. It's Zayo Intermission Live. Al Koken and the guests. Highlights and stats from up here in the booth. And Locker will be telestrating very, very soon. 1/3 of the way through regulation. Red, white, and blue trailing the blue and orange by 1 as we send you to the studio. Here's Rob Carlin, Alan May, and Brent Johnson. This Comcast Sportsnet coverage of Capitals hockey is being brought to you by your Washington area Chevy dealers. Find your local dealer on ChevyFirst.com. Morgan Franklin Consulting. Big capabilities, local roots. MorganFranklin.com. AAA. Start your journey at AAA.com. Iron Bow Technology. Visit them at ironbow.com. Land Rover. Visit DCAreaLandRover.com for attractive offers. And by Night Point Systems, offering you the technology you need when you need it. Friday night in the nation's capital, the first playoff meeting between the Caps and Islanders since 1993, the 7th overall between these two now Metro Division rivals. Cal Clutterbuck at the 5:14 mark from Matt Martin. The game's only goal. The guys in white, they took home ice advantage away on Wednesday. Now they are trying to go home up 2-0. With this one on Friday, the Capitals have other ideas against Yaroslav Halak, who shifts it along the boards. Johansson snares. John Carlson turns and fires a pad save for Halak in the first 15 seconds of the period. This one ricochets towards the doorstep. Leddy will be there in time to control. Backstrom working along the boards with Johansson. Brouwer gets into the act too. Two teams are skating full and even strength 5-on-5. Backstrom below the goal line. Lowers the shoulder, but Boychuk's there to rough him up.
Man,
take the puck away.
That helps to have that size. Boychuk, he's one of their strong defenders back there. Took care of Nick Backstrom trying to curl away.
Corner boards. The hard hit there on a Poso flattened him. That was Orpik doing the honors. John Carlson gets up into the rush. Carlson feeds the wing. Hickey will take it back for New York. Nielsen on the go. Wrister that goes high and wide of Philip Grubauer in the cage for Washington. He started tonight. Braden Holtby not available due to illness as Ovechkin hops back through center.
And way to go, Gruby. NHL Stanley Cup debut here tonight.
Kuznetsov delivers for Ovechkin. Snapshot on the way. Rejected by Wisnowski. To the second minute of the second period we go. 1-0 for New York. They're out shooting Washington 8-6 to this point. Nelson builds momentum. Brock Nelson struck first for the Isles against Holtby back on Wednesday. Sealed the deal too with the empty netter. Anders Lee Protected there by Matt Niskanen. Straight at point position. Gave it up to Ovechkin. He'll counterattack with Kuznetsov. And then Joel Ward. Cross ring for Ovechkin, just deflected over his blade. Alex followed, but twisted it off the side of the goal. Kuznetsov waiting for this delivery. Straight will give him a bump. Around the screen, there, snapshot goes high and wide from Chimera. Grabner accelerates through neutral. Long wrister that was deadened by Mike Green. Two fabulous skaters there working against each other.
Well, you know, Grabner's fast, Joe, when he makes Mike Green backpedal and turn. I mean, that just shows you how explosive number 40 is for the Islanders.
Boychuk risked that one behind Clutterbuck. To the dasher we go. You look down the board, you see Matt Martin throwing his weight around. Gleason will pounce on the puck for Washington. Through center for Chimera. He'll drop it cross corner. Beagle in hot pursuit. Leddy got there first. Cizikas was thrown to the backboards. Washington healthy scratches up front. Michael Latta and Andre Burakovsky not given a jersey tonight. As Grubauer will have this one secured. We send down for Al Koken. He had a word with Caps assistant coach Todd Reardon.
And Joe, Todd Reardon was very pleased, as the entire coaching staff was, about how much more offensive zone time the Capitals had in that first period compared to all three periods in game one. But you know, I asked him about the shot blocks of the Islanders. He said, we're having to adjust our shooting angles and our shooting lanes. Also, we need to get more pucks into the blue paint and outnumber the Islanders on any loose change that sits there against Yaroslav Halak.
Al, thanks very much for the knowledge. It's 1-0 here for New York. North of the border, it's 1-0 for Ottawa. Clark MacArthur has tallied for the visiting Senators. Our two referees tonight, Dave Jackson and Steve Kozari, they were the two that officiated that hard-hitting, hotly contested Game 1 in the Senators-Canadiens series.
You talking about Subban trying to take off an arm of one of their players? Is that the game?
Mark Stone.
Yeah, and he's playing tonight.
As is Max Pacioretty for Montreal. Tavares, swing and a miss. Wisnowski sends it wide. Strome keeps it hot. Tavares turns the corner. John Tavares for Strome on a one-timer. He scores. The Islanders lead by 2.
Well, Strome is a sharp shooter. He ripped one off the face-off. They are great friends off the ice, both Strome and Tavares, and there you see the chemistry on the ice. He was so high in the slot that there's no red jerseys around him. Look at Tavares, wheel from Carlson. Look at how high Strome is. Just no one can defend him when he's that high, and he is a goal scorer, and you see why. Here comes the slap shot. Notice the transfer of weight from back foot to front foot. All you young players, watch this. He doesn't just use his arm. He uses his whole body. He goes from right leg to left leg, and he buries it past Grubauer on the catching glove side.
Strome had the game-winning goal in his first ever Stanley Cup playoff game. The only Islander ever who could say that, Clark Gillies, way back in 1975. It's 2-0 for New York, and there are a lot of worried people inside of Verizon Center, present company included. Wisnowski snakes his way out of his own territory. On the move. Long wrister that is gloved by Grubauer, as Clutterbuck will take every shot he can muster tonight.
And the Capitals trying to get some pushing and shoving going on. The Islanders sort of just skate away. Willie trying to get involved. Great to see him back in the lineup. Love what he brings to the table. A lot of PIMs this year after taking that shot. Missed several games, but did through all the concussion protocols, both on and off the ice, to make sure he was ready to suit up against Cizikas and Martin and guys like that he's going to be locking horns with.
We had a little foreshadowing there while you were talking about Wilson. Matt Martin goes into the frame. Wilson and Martin dropped the gloves this season. Ryan Strome's numbers continue to climb.
Yeah, impressive. 50 points plus 23. And there you see the point plus per game against the Caps. He had that beautiful one off the face-off the other night.
DeHaan sent it wide. Grubauer will cover. And you know what? The youngster was crowing about it. He said that he called it in advance. He and Tavares had a little conversation. They said they were going to score off that draw, and he did.
Well, it was supposed to be a roll around on the draw, meaning the winger comes top circle. But he says, no, I'm just going to get it from you, Tavares, and I'm going to bury it. And he was as shocked. I think he knew it was in. I'm not sure anybody else on the ice did when it bulleted over that glove of Braden Holtby.
A screen, Braden Holtby, who sits this one out tonight. Philip Grubauer, dented twice by the Islanders. A 2-0 advantage for New York with 15:45 to go in the second. Brouwer on a backhand, gloved by Yaroslav Halak. Tonight's cold hard fact, it's brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. We're playing around with Game 2 history for the Capitals.
Yeah, we are. You take a look at those numbers. 19-18 all-time record in Game 2. 9-6 record in Game 2 when losing Game 1. 5-4 series record when winning Game 2 after losing Game 1. There's some numbers to chew on here tonight.
Barry Trotz, who we saw briefly there behind the Washington bench, continuing to say we've got to make our own history in the playoffs with this particular group. They are in serious come-from-behind mode right now. Off this draw, shoulder save for Halak on a buzz bomb from Ovechkin. Speaking of set pieces off the draw, Kuznetsov delivers for Alzner. It'll get away, and the Caps will have to reorganize. Yevgeny Kuznetsov putters it on for Alzner. He'll get the center line to clear in. Bailey chiseled it. Dropped in his tracks there by Ward. Franz Nielsen will click it ahead. And Oposo bullies his way back through center. Kuznetsov, who's been working on a line with Ovechkin and Ward for quite some time now, as the Capitals separated Backstrom from Ovechkin late in the regular season. Ovechkin, a snapshot that's flagged down eye high by Halak.
Not much for Alex to do on that play. He had Leddy right in the grill. Alex Ovechkin doesn't miss too many face-off draw shots. Here's one that just sizzles past the goaltender Halak. Here's the shot, and there it is, right off his right shoulder and up and over the net. Halak very low in his crouch there, trying to find that OV shot. They need production from all the boys here in red. Alex Ovechkin, point per game producer, plus the most in franchise history when you look at those goals.
No points for Alex in his last 6 playoff games. Meanwhile, Halak's save percentage numbers against the Capitals in the playoffs are downright astronomical. Wisnowski will move it ahead. Better than 94% for Yarrow in his time as an Isle or as a Canadian. Point position, it'll get away from Wisnowski. A hard-charging Chimera is there, and so is Hickey, who crosses over to make the defensive play. Lubomir Wisnowski, 38-year-old Slovak.
Who, by the way, I thought had a heck of a Game 1 for the Islanders team.
Grabner working for Nelson, and then Anders Lee for Grabner on top to Hickey. Long wrister that was squelched by Jay Beagle. Beagle and Fair and Chimera this trip for Barry Trotz as we near the 6-minute mark of the second. Hickey, sharp angle, great pass though, and a sprawling Grubauer had to get over there on Nelson.
As that was wide open, Nelson is hammering his stick. Not too happy he missed that pass because he had Grubauer down and out as they try to go east-west in the Capital zone.
That next goal is just about a must for Washington here as they trail on home ice. Trailing this series 1-0. They trail this game 2-0. With 13:45 to go in the middle frame.
And that puck's got to go in by the Caps because now they turn it over and now the Islanders regroup and now they set up their forecheck on a line change. That puck 10 feet inside the blue line, not good enough, Joe. It's got to go in deep below the goal line.
Wilson there on the forecheck, covering up on DeHaan. 4 players in the scrum. You get a handheld look at it as it bounces back towards point position. Capitals to the rescue. Glenncross to the front, sticked away by Halak. Brooks Light rotates over, makes the intercept. Like towards a cage, deflected by Wilson off the outside of the goal. Good shift here for this line as Tavares puts it on the blade of straight, and he'll drop it back behind Grubauer. Orpik put to the boards by Kulemin.
In that first period, no one played more than Orpik. He was close to 8 minutes for the Caps on their blue line.
Boychuk resurfacing for New York. The top defense pair for the Isles under the direction of Jack Capuano, Boychuk and Letty. As Orpik leaves it softly to the wall for Carlson. Best point scoring year in John's career. Moved ahead. Back through center. Here comes Brouwer. Brouwer tiptoes in. The second leading goal scorer for the Caps. Doesn't go very far. As the Washington squad will have to give chase. Icing is washed out.
And that was good defense by the Islanders. They always seem to have a support guy if you try to beat their D one-on-one.
Backstrom on the go. Backstrom's feed comes cross ring. Johansson turned to the outside by Boychuk. Marcus Johansson on the delay. Long one-time slapper deflected, and a lock stayed with it as Brouwer was looking for the tip-in try. Niskanen a chance to reload. Alsner a long way from the cooker. Johansson pivots on Cizikas. Cizikas knocked him down. Niskanen shovels there for Backstrom. Washington's top playmaker creeps out of the corner. Backstrom for Brouwer. Next in line, Johansson. He has the defender hung up. Marcus's feed to the inside, just gunned wide. As sneaking into the picture there was Yevgeny Kuznetsov.
Yeah, sort of pushed that puck with the heel of his stick, Joe, and that's why it went wide. He was trying to go down on his knee to collect that puck cleanly. Another good scoring chance on an excellent forecheck by the Caps.
Shots on goal locker are 11-10 for New York as we near the midway mark of this regulation time tonight. Islanders with tallies in the first from Clutterbuck. Here in the second from Strome, a 2-0 lead on the road. All the way back into the Washington end we go. This is icing against the Islanders. From the promo department, not too late to get your Capitals Playoff Clubhouse all-inclusive packs. All you can eat and drink starts an hour prior to puck drop, runs through the second intermission. Visit WashingtonCaps.com. 18 of the last 22 Caps playoff games, Locker, have been decided by one goal. That's why it was so odd to see game one be a 3-goal separation. Only 4 times during the regular season the Caps lost by 3 or more. That was the fewest in the league.
And I would say that's consistent when it comes to playoff time. 1-goal games are more the norm than a blowout or a 3 or 4 goal separation.
Kuhlman marching in with Franz Nielsen. Nielsen's drive goes wide through the screen. Franz Nielsen collects all the way around for Oposo. And then Wisniewski. Hickey with more perimeter work. Bailey is lurking below the goal line. Josh Bailey there. On top for Wisniewski. Oposo guarded by Carlson. Crashing and banging, you see that with Orpik in the fray.
Word relentless was used out of the Capitals locker room about this Islander team. They definitely are relentless if they get you running around in your own zone, Joe. They just go. They send 3 guys. They go all out trying to disrupt your breakout, and that's why the Capitals have had a tough time coming up the middle, getting out of their zone.
Eric Fair strolling along, crisscrossing with Beagle. Fair delivers it for Beagle. Shoulder to shoulder there. Bailey on the check. Green fires. Stopped in front. Follow-up chance. Glencross didn't get it through the pack either. Curtis Glencross swivels away from Nelson to the slot there. And the Islander defense, a shot-blocking machine again tonight. Green to turn. On the advance for Wilson. Drifts it into the corner. Ryan straight. Lost his stick. Cizikas was crunched. Islanders working it from side to side effectively. The long stretch there for Matt Martin. Martin's backhand pass, not a lot of starch on that. Cizikas for Clutterbuck. Stopped there by Grubauer as it floats wide of the goal. Light to Green with a jump on the defender. Green to the front. Stop shot coming. A bullet that goes wide of the cage. Brouwer didn't hit the net there. Alsner will blocker down by Halak. Follow-up chance, and he shuffled over to make that save too. Green waits. This crowd just ready to erupt. Johansson settles. Marcus Johansson on the feed. Backstrom waits. Long drive coming. Bluffed by Green. There's one. Score! Carl Alsner!
I tell you what, Joe, you mentioned the fans. They're a big reason the Capitals have struck within one. Alzner overpowers the catching mitt of the goaltender Halak. The Islanders were playing with only 4 sticks in front. Matt Martin had his broken, and they moved it around. Watch Greeny be able to fake the shot because Martin doesn't have his stick. If he did have his stick, he would have been out and fronted him. And there you see the puck with good net presence. They say they've got to get bodies in front. There you saw Brouwer and the overpowering slap shot against Capuano's team. The fans are going crazy here in Washington.
How about the Capitals defensemen again? The D-core, top 3 in the NHL. Total points for the Blue Liners, trailing only Calgary and Nashville. And it is Alzner on the primary assist from Green to cut the Islander lead in half. With the puck off of the rink, a face-off to come in neutral ice. 8:29 to go, second period. Re-energized, the captain and the Capitals, Karl Alzner. Yes, sir. Alzner's second ever Stanley Cup playoff goal has the Caps within 1. Now it's time for our military salute, brought to you by Pentagon Federal Credit Union. Tonight's honoree, Lieutenant Colonel Judith Mathewson, who has been an active member of the U.S. Air Force and the U.S. National Guard since 1986. Judith, we appreciate your efforts more than you know. Thank you very, very much. Verizon Center is a cauldron of excitement right now. They are rocking the red in full throat. Look at the shots tonight. Those that have made the net, those have been blocked, those that have gone wide. The Islanders are doing a nice job of putting a force field up in front of Yaroslav Halak with those 18 blocks.
Yeah, and as Al Koken mentioned, the coaching staff and the coaches like Reardon want the Capitals to change their angle to get more shots through. It's one step left, it's one step right. Alzner from Mike Green and Nick Backstrom. And fans, way to go. You get an assist also on that goal. The pressure wouldn't have been kept up until you came to your feet to cheer this team on. Just a wonderful crowd noise, Joe, that helped that Caps team keep the heat on their first goal.
It was very apparent. Philip Grubauer hearing all those cheers. Grubauer filling in for an ill Braden Holtby in this game 2 of a best-of-7, the Eastern Conference first round. Niskanen ahead, drop pass Backstrom for Ovechkin. Trying to make one more there as we see Backstrom, Ovechkin, and Johansson looking for the equalizer. Kuhlman the other way, great pass. Strome, his bid was blocked. There's Backstrom at both ends of the rink. Johansson accelerates through neutral. Marcus Johansson's pass turned away by John Tavares. No slow poke getting back in his own zone either.
Man, on that last rush, Joe, is a 3-on-2. I'm not sure if Backy saw Mojo. He was wide open. He elected to drop pass. Still a good sequence by the Caps, but they had guys open, and that's a good thing because the wingers are burning wide against the Islander D here in the second period.
Ward lassoed by Nelson. Joel Ward stays strong on the puck. It dribbles to the far corner. Anders Lee is there, turning it back. Eric Fair with a long reach. Great centering pass, deflected away from Ward. Green on the back pedal, relieving some of the pressure. Ward turns, looks to stuff. It goes off of Halak and wide. Green steps in, fakes the slapper. Mike Green, fancy stick handling to the corner. On the cycle there with Like. Nelson interrupts for New York, gets help from Lee, but they still can't get out. Like on the feed for Ward, another great shift for Washington back-to-back. Ward turns it. This is the heavy game we're talking about. Nelson looking to clear. There's Green. Mike Green closing. Waits for the screen to develop. Then fires. It's blockered away. Brouwer hustles to the rebound. All Washington here. Gleason fires. Deflection. Great save, a lock. Green thumps the rebound. That was blocked. It dropped Hickey in the process.
Yeah, they're still getting some good net front there. Well done. Another consecutive shift of great zone time. The fans again rising for their effort. They've had urgency in their play, Joe, and they're taking it to the Islanders. The Islanders just about pylons in front of their net. Just very stationary because of the speed and heavy game the Capitals are playing.
Bailey on the move. Cross rink. Wide open here. Oposo fires. He scores. Kyle Oposo quiets the crowd.
Yeah, that goal sure will. Everything looked like everything was lining up for that so-called 2-goal lead, worst goal lead in hockey. Well, that silences the fans and some heads down in the stands here at Verizon Center. Oposo missed one earlier in this hockey game in the first. A little indirect, comes in, gets it wide, and here comes that shot, and it's a scorcher. Might have lost the sight by Grubauer once Orpik slid. Watch Orpik slide right here. But look at where he puts it. The only spot he could put it, Joe, was that shot right under the bar. Again, a high heat shot, and Oposo's got his first of the playoffs.
Every Capital defender we talked to this week, getting set for this Caps Islanders series, every one of them about Kyle Oposo. What is it about him? It's the shot. As Hickey gets set for his next shift, it's the shot of Kyle Oposo that is so good, and he burns Grubauer at 14:09 with a well-placed wrister.
And off the face-off, Joe, already jockeying, but now they go upstairs just to make sure. They're probably checking out the time or whatever. But there you have Wilson chit-chatting with Martin on this face-off immediately after that go-ahead goal, giving them their 2-goal lead back.
Kyle Oposo celebrated a birthday yesterday. Has 6 points in his last 7 playoff games.
They check a lot of the goals in the playoffs, obviously. That one's so hard under the bar, they checked that one out to make sure it was indeed in.
Blocker, is it me or is the meshing new? It look like it's brand new white nets.
Exactly.
And it's strung awfully tight, too, by the way. Pet peeve of mine. But a well-placed shot by Oposo. Gets past Philip Grubauer, who's subbing for an ill Braden Holtby. The Capitals electing to go with Grubauer, who has been busy at the American Hockey League level, while Justin Peters has played all of 60 minutes in the last 2 months, and Peters is the backup tonight.
The Capitals have to snatch back that momentum. Grubauer in the American Hockey League, 27-17-5. Just an amazing run in January and February when he went 11-1 for the Hershey Bears. He is really turning in to a bright spot when you look at prospects in the Capitals lineage.
Face-off control for Washington, trailing again by 2 with a little bit more than 5 minutes to work in this second period as the Islanders come darting out of their own zone. Clutterbuck will drive it in. There are 4 total Stanley Cup playoff games going on tonight, including this one. 4 pretty exciting ones last night. Minnesota getting the better of St. Louis at Scott Trade Center. Prior to Jake Allen last night, our very own Brent Johnson was the last rookie to start a playoff game in goal for the Blues, as Halak will squeeze an easy wrister to his chest. Less than 5 to play, second period. Islanders back on 2. We are seeing far too many of the Islanders with their arms raised in D.C.
The Islanders changed their defensive system quite a bit for the first game. You know, they kept us to the outside. They kept a lot of bodies in front and let us kind of skate around the perimeter. So, you know, we've adjusted a few things. Hopefully, you know, those things will help us get to the middle a little bit more and create some better scoring opportunities.
Eric Fair with our Legal Seafoods Bite of the Night commenting about the Islander defense. I know for sure it looked like they changed their penalty killing approach. So aggressive in that first game. Meanwhile, the Caps have not had a power play of which to speak in game 2. 3-1 for the Isles. Strome and Oposo sandwiching goals around a Carl Alsner blast. Backstrom throws it to the point to Alsner.
And Oposo without his stick now. He cracked it over Ovechkin the same way they scored their last goal when Martin didn't have his twig.
Alsner finds Ovechkin for a one-timer. Stopped there by Halak. Alex Ovechkin pivots away from Nielsen. Niskanen bombs away. Just missed. Booted back behind the goal by Ovechkin to Ward. Alex creeps to his backhand. Alex Ovechkin serves it for Alsner. Ovechkin this way to Niskanen. Alex Ovechkin about 60 feet from the goal.
This is called a prevent defense. Once you get running around, you then get to your positions and don't run around because you know Oposo doesn't have his stick. Prevent defense right now for the Islanders. Very stationary against the Caps.
Backstrom closing. Niskanen towards the goal. Block. Rebound. Score! Alex Ovechkin on the follow-up.
Capuano's team with the long change, you can't get off, so now you're very stationary in what's called the prevent defense, and that is shooting on purpose for a rebound. That's exactly what Niskanen is doing. In this day and age, you often shoot for a rebound rather than to score yourself. How beautifully was that placed to come off the pad, the right side of Halak, and right onto the stick of the Capitals captain.
Keep playing that prevent defense.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
It'll prevent them from winning.
Well, they got to keep breaking the stick.
Yeah, I know. There's the stick broken. That's all part of that equation. Bad luck for the Isles. Very good fortune for Washington. Ovechkin's first at 16:09. It has been a wild second period that has featured 4 goals now. We were 1-0 Isles after 20.
And now the fans are back into it. You know, there was a lull after that Oposo goal to make it 3-1. Now the Capitals captain strikes. Way to go, Alex. 3-2 Isles.
Can I be greedy and ask for one more from Washington? You know the fans want it. Trying to get this series level at a game apiece. Game 3, Nassau Coliseum Sunday on NBC. Mike Green brings it cross rink for Gleason. Handcuffed him there, and Matt Martin will bowl him over, forcing the Caps to rewind. Green on the hand through for Marcus Johansson. Halak will get into the act, spinning around the boards. Green was waiting. A wrister down low, twisting Brouwer around. Sharp angle over the head of Halak from Kuznetsov. Mike Green, deep slot. Yevgeny Kuznetsov, and then Brouwer. The passing much better in this period. Long slapper that goes wide. Kuznetsov filtering out of the corner. Cross rink, long slapper knocked down in front as Johansson was setting the screen. There was Hickey to block Green as the Caps will retreat back. This is going to be an icing call against the Islanders inside of a deafeningly loud Verizon Center.
And it's all about getting more shots for the guys in red. And here comes the big boys with a face-off. Nick's getting ready to go. Last game in game 1, the Capitals had 8 shots in the second, 8 in the third, 16 total. Well, here in this period, they already have 16, 10 better than the Islanders.
The Islanders' lead goal for the moment, Kyle Oposo from Bailey and DeHaan at 14:09. 2 minutes after that, Ovechkin would strike from Niskanen on the primary assist. Meanwhile, Backstrom has a couple of helpers as the Islanders are contemplating their timeout now.
And they're going to take it. You know what went on there? I think Trotz wanted to make sure the same Islanders got caught on the ice. The Islanders had 7 or 8 guys on the ice, wanted to slow things down, and by then the referee said, you know what, enough is enough. You got to call a timeout. And that's when Capuano got some extra time to rest and called his timeout here tonight.
Let's test your hockey knowledge with McDonald's trivia. Name the 3 players that have scored 4 goals in a single game in a playoff series that involves the Caps. There are 3 players in Washington Capitals Stanley Cup playoff history who've scored 4 times in one game. Can you name them? Locker, I have 2 of the 3, and I am stumped on the 3rd one.
Yeah, 1 of them are a Capital.
Yes.
And 2 are the opposition.
I have
That's
one.
a little
I have the 1 Cap, and I have 1 of the opposition, not the second.
Well, you got 2 more than I do.
Fans are roaring. Face off here. Nicholas Backstrom so good in game 1 at the dot. He's flanked by Alex Ovechkin and Joel Ward this time as Coach Trotz has been altering his offensive line formations.
And Trotz wants to make sure they get the right 5 guys out. They tried to throw out Boychuk when it was Wisniewski. Good observation by Barry Trotz. Alex Ovechkin coming over to talk to the referee, say, what the heck? You've got to have better line changes. Cappy trying to slow things down, Joe. Took the timeout, took his time calling the timeout, and now jockeying to give his team a little more time because they are reeling in a big way.
Orpik for Carlson. Feed it below the goal line all the way to Backstrom. Nicholas looking to create. Backstrom turns, protecting the puck so strong. Backstrom turns it on, looking for Ward. Collected to the corner. 5-on-5, we play 2.5 to go. Ovechkin speed to the goal mouth, it's there. Doorstep stopped by Halak, and he'll cover as Ward tested him. The Washington Capitals are within one. The NHL's leading scorer, providing here in period 2. Back for more on CSN. Better than 18,000 inside of Verizon Center, roaring their lungs out. Islanders still have a 1-0 lead, or rather a 1-goal lead. The assist leaders are presented by your local Hyundai dealers. Let them assist you in scoring the lowest prices on the hottest lineup in America. These two go together like ham and cheese.
They sure do. Backstrom and Ovechkin, 33, helping them out. Pavelski and Joe Thornton, Giroux and Voracek, Tyler Johnson and Kucherov also light the lamp, although they did not last night. They fell in that game to the Detroit Red Wings after the Red Wings were badly outshot.
As Alzner works in a wrister here that's deflected. How about the goaltending of Peter Mrazek?
Impressive, wasn't it?
44 saves. Turnover here. Backstrom fires! And Halak makes the stop. Backstrom, who has tormented Halak in their Stanley Cup playoff overlapping careers, didn't get the better of him there. All the way she'll roll. Franz Nielsen there for New York. We drift below 2 minutes to play in period 2. A frame that has seen 4 goals go up on the board, 2 each way. Icing is washed out. Fans didn't like it. Niskanen through center. Offers to Alzner, one of the 2 cap scorers in this period. He'll clear in. Ovechkin looking after Boychuk. Johnny keeps it going, but there's a bad bounce off of a seam. Brouwer has the puck.
Or a good bounce.
DeHaan through center. I guess it all depends on your perspective.
Exactly.
Orpik took a nudge there from Strome. Tavares gets into the act. Tavares, 1 assist in game 1. A pass to the goal mouth, and there's Brouwer just ready to pounce for Washington with 70 seconds to play in the second period. John Carlson on the money. Kuznetsov's pass is a bit strong for Brouwer. Nick Leddy sends it on around. Final minute of period 2. Shots on goal now are 23-13. A mere 13 for New York, almost 40 minutes in.
And they're a team that generally has a ton of shots. One of the top teams at getting pucks to the net during the regular season.
Only Chicago with more in the regular campaign. Speaking of Chicago, the former Blackhawk, Leddy through center. He'll drop it in. Back behind Philip Grubauer. 34 seconds with which to work. Fair around the boards, not away from Nelson. Didn't have enough steam on that. As it's off of the rink here, the linesmen say the faceoff should come inside.
Yeah, it's going to stay inside. Marcus in the Caps, a whale of a second period. Alzner, one of the goal getters, pressuring the Islanders. The line changes, the long change have benefited the Capitals in this second stanza. Playoff career for Alzner, 33 games, now 6 points and only 1 minor penalty. Doesn't get himself in a bad situation to send him to the sin bin.
Eric Fair to take the draw against Brock Nelson, who takes a knee to win it for the Isles. Wisnowski guides it into the corner. There's Anders Lee, marked by his opposite 27, Carl Alzner. Fair to the boards for Chimera and out. Back into Halak's neighborhood with 13 seconds to go. Sprinting to keep that in was Fair. 8 seconds left. Hickey crowded in the corner. Grabner for the Isles. On to Wisnowski. 2 to go. A long drive right to the glove of Grubauer, and that'll do it for 40 minutes.
And a deserving crowd noise raising to their feet to give this team in red much needed applause, Joe. An excellent second period by the Washington Capitals.
As they file to the dressing room with 20 minutes to go in regulation, we head off to Zayo Intermission Live. Alan Aguest, highlights and stats from up here in the booth, news and notes from all around the NHL. It's the best time of the year, folks. The Stanley Cup playoffs, and we've got you covered for this Eastern Conference first round game 2 on Comcast Sportsnet. Zayo Intermission Live right now. Chick Hernandez and Brian Mitchell here with a Sports Talk Live preview.
I tell you what, Joe, it's exciting. A second period, once again, pivotal like game one. 4 goals scored, and when Carl Osner scored, this place lit up.
It did light up. Everybody talked about it was very dry and dead in the first game, but tonight is very live. I think they are now setting themselves up for a third period for the ages.
No question about that. Coming up on Sports Talk Live here, you're going to hear about Steve Spurrier in a way you really shouldn't. And the Wizards also in the blizzard. Spurs should keep his shirt on, just like the guys up in the booth. Joe B?
Boys, that's a sweet location you have.
Front row, baby.
Very sweet location you have. 3-2 for New York after 2 periods. Zayo Intermission Live. We'll roll it your way on Comcast Sportsnet after these words from D.C. When just one mistake is all you can take, the Capitals can't afford any more mistakes in this hockey game. It's a 3-2 New York lead after 2 periods of play. Joe Beninati, Craig Laughlin, Al Koken with you tonight with the NHL on CSN. On Twitter, hashtag Capitals Talk. Which Cap's going to be the difference maker in this series? Here come your answers. And Backstrom is the first one.
Man, the face-off circle and on the score sheet. Wilson brings some good energy, and Caps have heavy hitters. Ovi and Backy have to be better.
Backstrom already with a couple of assists tonight. As you see the answers coming in as for which Cap can be a difference maker in this best of 7. Troy Brouwer needs to clean up some garbage in front of Halak. I second the motion.
Man, Marcus, good first game. A lot of people saw that because Kuznetsov centering Ovi gives the great depth with 2 legitimate scoring lines and the great 8. You not forget him, and he's got one here tonight.
Capitals outshot the Isles 12-3 in the final 9 minutes of that second period. So Alex Ovechkin and friends hopefully have momentum with which to start this third frame. Game 3 of the series swings to Nassau Coliseum Sunday. NBC has the coverage, and that one starts at high noon in that old barn.
That should be exciting. Always great there. The fans are coming out in droves in their last season in Uniondale. Remember, Caps postgame live following the game. Caps Islanders 12 noon Eastern this Sunday.
You're a hockey fan. You love to watch it on TV. Wall-to-wall coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs on the networks of NBC. We shout out thanks to all the men and women in our crew on Comcast Sportsnet tonight for all their efforts throughout the day. Washington 1 down, needs 1 to tie to get back into the series at 1 apiece before we go to Long Island. New York, a 4-1 winner in game 1 thanks to a couple of tallies from Brock Nelson. This is John Tavares on the move. Only Max Pacioretty with more points in the third period of the regular season than Tavares. Pacioretty's on the board tonight for the Habs. Strome's pass comes to point position for Leddy. Strome, Tavares, and Kuhlman work the cycle. This one just bounces wide. That's Philip Grubauer, folks, in the goal if you're just tuning in. Grubauer for an ailing Braden Holtby who's ill. Leddy fires that off of Joel Ward. The shot block winds up in the netting.
And some of the reasoning behind the Caps going with Grubauer. Number 1, he played Tuesday. He's getting a heavy workload in the American League. He made 25 saves, 3 goals against. They lost 4-1. Played last Friday, beat St. John's. And Peters, unfortunately for the Caps, Joby, really hasn't played a whole lot the last couple of months, and that's why Groovy gets the start here tonight.
Played the grand total of 68 minutes the last 2 months. Justin Peters sitting second to Grubauer tonight. Michael Neuwirth, another former Cap, backing up Jaro Halak. Grubauer has seen the Islanders before. It was his first NHL loss, in fact. It was at Nassau Coliseum. He made 40 saves in that game. It's a couple of regular seasons ago. Hickey turns it off the boards for Bailey. Niskanen hatchets one right on. Cuffed down by Halak. 5-on-5 play with Niskanen again lowering the boom. That one trickles wide. Eric Fair stymied by Lubomir Wisnowski. Bailey keeping an eye on Niskanen. Fair swivels one to the slot looking for Chimera. It'll clank away. Oposo, one of the goal scorers for New York. Old-fashioned hip check coming from Niskanen.
Yeah, nice play by Niski. Just an old-fashioned seat cut to turn into that player to prevent him from going along the boards with speed.
Alsner and Ovechkin the goals for Washington. Clutterbuck, Strome, and Oposo on the sheet for the Isles. Halak makes another stop. Give him 23 in the game. Brouwer's slap pass goes to the corner. Kuznetsov top side for Gleason. Then Kuznetsov to his backhand. Turns, fires, deflected away from Halak. Straight there for the Islanders in the visiting white. They get to show off in front of their fans on Sunday. That building will be going nuts.
Yeah, it's been packed just about all season long, helping out this team on home ice. They're pretty darn good, Joe. Huge numbers when it comes to home victories.
Credit, though, to the Verizon Center faithful in the second period in particular. They were fantastic, roaring these Caps to a come-from-behind effort.
Yeah, they really were a big factor in the goal in that second period to get the Capitals some life by Alsner.
Like steps in. Brooks Like to the goal mouth that came on through. Wilson's stick was tied up. Tom Wilson returning to the lineup. Michael Latta and Andrei Burakovsky sit out healthy. On the crisscross, here's Martin with a drive, a sizzler that goes wide.
That was a real good job by Niskanen, and he shook up Cizikas coming through the middle on that hit. Niskanen has been very physical here in game 2.
Tom Wilson motors through center. Wilson on the drop. Like fires right on, and Halak saw it all the way. He'll clamp down on it. Land Rover, defensive plays of the game. The New York Islanders very busy defensively.
Blocking a ton of shots, 22 overall. And there's the layers of defense, a top, a middle, and a one next to the net. That's why it's so hard to get through shots in the NHL. You have bodies, you have stick. Everything's about stick on the puck, and that's why it's so difficult to score. Good opportunities all around. The Capitals can't find the pucks getting to the net.
Slashing call here against Ryan Strome. Going to give the Washington Capitals their first power play of the night.
And first mistake the Islanders have as Capuano's team goes to the PK. A retaliation after that little scrum in front of the net sends the goal scorer Strome to the box.
Washington, like New York, 0 for 2 on the man advantage in game 1. I was impressed by the way the Islanders were aggressive on their penalty kill, but Nicklas Backstrom said if they continue to do that, we'll feast on him. I'm putting words in his mouth. I think Backstrom said he would be very pleased to see them continue to pressure like that.
Well, more and more teams use the so-called swarm. They're all over you. They really pressure once the puck starts bouncing, much like the New York Rangers.
Backstrom on the outside. Carlson fires a blocker save for Halak. That was a real good one as Boychuk creams at the length of the ice. Barry Trotz said the Islanders started to change their penalty kill about 6 to 8 weeks ago. The Caps last saw the Islanders in the regular season February 21.
And you know why that happens? Because you stink halfway to start this season. And as a coaching staff, you say, hey, we better turn things around. We're at the bottom when it comes to PK, and they go from passive to aggressive.
Ovechkin fires there. Good rotation, though. Straight was in the way. Cizikas will get it out with Grabner's assist.
Yeah, Straight did a nice job. Last game, I thought Boychuk did a good job when they're trying to find Alex Ovechkin.
Backstrom up the gut to score! Nicklas Backstrom ties it. The bench goes crazy.
Well, when you watch this, the Islanders were mesmerized by Nick Backstrom. They were thinking he was going to fire it to either side. And so they just get in the box formation, and he cuts right through the box formation and rips it himself. The Islanders are all thinking he's going to sprinkle it to Brouwer or to Ovechkin. And he says, you know what? I might call my own number 19. And he rips it. He's got the first for himself in the playoffs.
16, now 17 games against Halak. He's got 9 goals against him straight up. Nicklas Backstrom ends a lengthy goal-scoring drought, ties the game at 3. The league's best power play strikes again.
And again, the defense involved. Now 4 points for the Caps after this play in the neutral zone. Watch Carlson get it. He's going to fire it right up to Nick, but look at, they're in good position. But they're thinking he's going to pass, and instead of passing, he surprises everybody and rips it past Halak.
Another thunderous ovation inside of Verizon Center for Nicholas Backstrom and the Capitals. We are brand new at 3 apiece. Alsner towards the cage. It'll float over the shoulder of Jaro Halak. Hickey is there for the Isles. On for Bailey. Help comes from Franz Nielsen. And this is going to be whistled as offside against Washington.
The Capitals really turning up the heat here, and now they feel it. They feel it in their game. You can see the way the bench is sitting, the way the players are looking on. You just see that confidence that they got now that they've tied this game up. They had two two-goal leads, did the Islanders, and the Capitals have climbed back in this one.
Ovechkin capping the second period scoring summary. Backstrom starting it here in the third. It's 3-all. Nielsen wins the draw for New York. Nielsen and Bailey and Oposo out there as Niskanen will retreat. 5-on-5 play here. Washington almost doubling up the Islanders in shots at 29-15. Hickey, along with the defensive help from Franz Nielsen. Bailey turns. Washington gets another hit from Troy Brouwer. Caps had 4 different guys over 200 hits this year. Oposo guarded by Kuznetsov. There's Brock Nelson. Oposo turns, stopping and starting out of the corner. Oposo marching to the goal. Cross rink. Back on top. Boychuk fumbled it to center, delayed offside against New York.
And all those contacts are all about wear and tear on the team. Once you continue to take bodies, the clock in the middle of this arena, you'd have no time up there, so the officials are definitely going to have to go over and help out.
Chimera floats it. It's Grabner off the wall and out.
And the clock on your screen, fans, is correct. Even though we don't have one here at the center screen, we do have them at the ends. Ours is correct here on CSN.
That's a bit of an issue. 5.5 minutes into the third, as Beagle will deliver it on down. Barry Trotz and Lane Lambert, Todd Reardon, Lane Forsythe all want the line change. Leddy speeds back through center. Nick Leddy on the go, fires, and it's Grubauer with a glove save.
Nice stop, Gruby. That was a sneaky looking shot by Nick Leddy. Sort of looked like it bounced a little bit, or at least went up and then down. Here comes Leddy, and watch this shot. Sort of up and down, and sort of a wild-looking wrist shot that causes goaltenders problems. Real nice catch there by Gruby.
Leddy, who led all Islander defenders in points this season. Philip Grubauer's save total, a baker's dozen for this 23-year-old German fourth-year pro. Referee Dave Jackson over to the timekeeper's bench. Again, the scoreboard clock inside of Verizon Center, that one right there, where you see the blue, there should be time there where it says period 3.
This clock up here, Joe, is correct, and we have 2 end zone clocks here at Verizon Center, so they just want to make sure everything is correct. Jackson, the referee, is going to go over and tell both coaches, look, use the end zone timers, and they're going to be fine. That is the correct time. We'll worry about the big clock in the middle when we have time to fix it.
There's the auxiliary scoreboard of which you speak. 14-17 left in the third. Our Jeep shots on net divvied up into thirds with the Caps approaching 30 now on Jaro Halak. They've battled back to tie the Islanders here in game 2. Brooks like storms through center. Like straightened up there by the defense of Brian Strait.
24-9 over the last 2 periods for the Caps. Well done. They're taking momentum that they garnered after that second period flurry.
Wilson golfs at it. Like and Glenn Cross joining Wilson, the youngster, in the pursuit to get Washington the lead. The Caps have not had it in this game tonight. Alsner wiggles away from the pressure. The dump in comes from Curtis Glencross. Nearing the 7-minute mark of period 3. It's Kuhlman on the go. Another broken stick for New York, and boy, has that troubled them, especially at the defensive end of the rink.
Yeah, 2 times the Capitals were able to score.
Strome with a ripoff leaves it for Hickey. That was blocked. Orpik goes round and round with Tavares. Wisnowski fires, deflected. Ooh, just over top of the cage there. Tavares with a sneaky tip-in try. Nicholas Backstrom, who tied it here in the third, glides through center. Backstrom closing, fires, glove save Halak, and he just traps it against his body. 7:06 into the third. All the excitement of the NHL in the stands and on the bench. He captured by CSN. Tonight's game summary is brought to you by Night Point Systems. They offer the technology you need when you need it. Philip Grubauer, welcome to the heat of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
And the stars are shining for the good guys. Alex Ovechkin, a goal, 4 shots, 6 hits. Got them back and rolling. And, of course, you've got another star, Nick Backstrom. We've seen him every single season. The star he is has had a wonderful game. A goal and 2 assists, a ton of ice time, and winning the face-off battles.
Niskanen winds and drives. It's deflected down. Washington converting its only power play of the game. Carlson getting the assist on the Backstrom goal, making it 3-3. Beagle rumbles back through center, leaves it along the board for Chimera. Time ticking, 7.5 minutes into the third. Nick Leddy checking his rear view mirror. Dangerous pass up the gut there. Caps have it. Chimera fires, pad, stop. Rebound, Chimera, score! Jason Chimera!
The Islanders, if they connect, you say, wow, what a breakout. If you don't connect, this is what happens. And Jason Chimera, with a lot of friends standing on their feet here at Verizon Center. The Capitals get their first lead, an unsung hero type guy. The Capitals' third line gets out there and creates a problem because of a bad turnover by Nick Leddy. And Niskanen and the rest of the D heavily involved in all the Capitals' goals here tonight. The Capitals lead 4-3.
Jason Chimera, who turns 36 in May. In the regular season, all 7 of his goals came in Washington wins. Right now, he's given the Caps the lead in Game 2. 4-3 with 12 minutes to go in regulation time. Anders Lee pressured to the boards by Mike Green. Yevgeny Kuznetsov spins it out. Ooh, that came up high, straight.
Yep,
tried to drop that in, and the puck clipped Marcus Johansson, who stays down.
Definitely right off the side of the face. Good job by the officials. Smitty comes over to take a look. He's going to be all right. Going to hustle over to the bench. Took that puck directly on the cheek on that high dump-in flip by the Islander defenseman. Marcus looks no worse for wear. Doesn't look like he was cut by that puck. Here it is, top right corner of the screen. You'll see Marcus go. There's the puck, ricochet off the glass there. And as the D-man throws it off the glass, trying to get it out of the zone. That was Brian Straight's shot. One more look, here it is. Even closer on our 84 Lumber slow-mo cam. Left side of the face, the puck hits Marcus directly dead on.
Islanders playing without Travis Hamonic and Mikhail Grabovski tonight. Washington missing Dmitry Orlov, John Erskine, and Braden Holtby. Holtby taking ill, missing practice yesterday and not performing at all today. Philip Grubauer guards a 1-goal lead for Washington as the Capitals are whistled for offside.
And notice a little line shuffling. Backstrom now with Ovechkin and Joel Ward. A little shuffling going on by the head bench boss, Barry Trotz. He seems to be pushing the right triggers and the right buttons. Jason Chimera, the hero so far here in the third period.
Locker, you mentioned all the points from the D. Washington getting more points from its defense this year in better than 20 years. All the way back to the 93-94 campaign.
And that was guys like Cote, Hatcher, guys like that were lighting it up for the Caps blue line.
11.5 to go in this third period. That main scoreboard here at Verizon Center has been fixed as the Islanders are in offside. Tom Wilson trying to provide a spark in his return to the lineup.
It's amazing. You get a little lead and all of a sudden you're lighter on your skates. You're more confident. You're throwing around the puck a lot better. You're hitting the guys on the tape. It's just been a total turnaround for this Caps team. You know, they fall down 2-0. They fall down 3-1. and they just battle. And that's all Barry Trotz wanted. You know, you don't change things come the playoffs as you look at Willie's numbers. You got to stick with what has worked all season, and then you make little tweaks. And everyone said prior to this series, we're going to play the how we got us here. We're in playoff mode from day one of this season.
Franz Nielsen drags it out of the corner, plays it to the point for Leddy. Leddy with a wrister that was blocked by Jay Beagle. Hard-working winger tonight. Looks after Oposo as he's crowded by Carl Alsner. All to the cheers of Let's Go Caps. Oposo to the deep slot. Point position Boychuk. Deflected by Fair, and it's off of the rink into the Washington bench. Folks, earlier we asked you about some McDonald's trivia, and it had to do with guys who scored 4 goals in a game in a playoff game involving the Caps. Can you name them? Dino for sure, Cicerelli, Ray Ferraro for sure, and I don't
have the third. No idea.
Dino,
wow,
Mark Johnson. Hello.
On the New Jersey Devils. Wow.
Ray Ferraro, then of the New York Islanders. I remembered that one first, and then I said, oh, Caps record was Dino Cicerelli. That would have been against Pittsburgh.
It was great seeing Landon Ferraro play last night for the Detroit Red Wings. His son, tremendous amount of speed and energy for the Detroit Red Wings as they visited Tampa.
Icing call against Washington. Alex Ovechkin protests as he was hustling there, trying to win the race to the imaginary line.
They're not going to change. You can talk to them all you want. Doesn't matter if you're the captain. Doesn't matter who you are. They're not going to make a real change there.
Alex's good buddy Nikolai Kulemin, 28-year-old Russian, sets up shop as the Isles control the draw. DeHaan shimmies in and sends it wide of Grubauer. Straight, shovels it down low. There's the Islander captain Tavares, so dangerous. John Tavares snakes his way out of the corner. Worked over there by John Carlson, good D. Grubauer will slow the dump in as Capuano will change him up for New York. Time ticking away here in the third period. Caps lead by 1 with 10:15 to go.
And did you see how the Capitals defended that? You said great defense because Carlson followed them everywhere. There was no change-ups. There was no confusion. They followed Tavares all the way up as he tried to get cute and couldn't make the play because of that pressure.
Beagle shreds his defender, feeds for Green. Stopped there by Halak, and it just trickled wide. Washington looking for insurance now. Beagle on the go. Hickey upsets him to the backboards. Thomas Hickey strong on his stick, able to get it out for New York. Brock Nelson finds Anders Lee. So good against Washington during the regular season was Lee. To the corner they go. Lee, a big body, drags it to the point for Boychuk. Switch it up. Leddy's wrister blocked by Beagle. Stick in the shooting lane. He'll clear. Game 3 of this series, Sunday, high noon on NBC. It'll be at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Caps want to go there with a series level at 1 apiece. Oposo with a strip. Kyle Oposo to the front, and Carlson was on guard again. But Oposo stays with it. Kyle Oposo working feverishly. Nielsen, sharp angle, shut down by Grubauer, and he'll melt it. 9:03 to go. You're not moving now. You're joining a sold-out crowd here at Verizon.
And here comes Murphy. Moves it out to Gartner on right wing. Gartner gets to center ice. Moves it across the line to Carpenter. Carpenter back to Gartner. Wraps around a shot. There it goes!
That's a time when dinosaurs roamed the ice. Guys like 18, Craig Laughlin.
Hey, you know what I like about that? How about Rudy whining about goalie interference? Come on, Kelly. No interference on that wraparound. Wonderful Mike Gartner, big goal.
Trust me, they would have called goalie interference today if that happens again tonight.
I like the size of his pads.
Oh, kind of tiny.
Yeah, like a phone book.
Washington opening up with 4 goals in a little bit less than 20 minutes of game time. The last of which from Jason Chimera at 7:37, as the Capitals now cling to a 1-goal lead with 8:50 to go in this third.
And great not allowing shots. 7 in the first, 7 in the second, and only 3 here in the third for the Islanders.
Oposo's been extremely dangerous the last couple of shifts. He gets measured there by Alsner. On the break comes Chimera, skating powerfully down the flank. Boychuk takes him to the wall. Franz Nielsen on to Oposo. Good stick check, well timed there by Niskanen.
Yeah, Niskanen, real strong game. here tonight. Game 1, little butterflies, I thought, for Niskanen and Alsner on the blue line for the Caps.
Well, they were a combined -7. That might not happen in a month.
Exactly.
Icing call against New York, or rather against Washington, brings it back into the Grubauer zone. Alex Ovechkin on the scoreboard. Brooks Orpik checking out.
Now, I don't think it was icing. I think it was offside. Yeah, Joe, and that's why the guys in red are allowed a line change, and that's what the official made sure Barry Trotz knew, that it was an offside at the far blue line on a stretch pass, not an icing call.
And then a missed draw. Washington won 63% in game 1. They've been good again this evening. Brouwer likes to take him on this side of the rink. Lost it there. Bombs away from straight. That one floating wide of the cage. Two teams are working 5-on-5. It was a power play goal from Backstrom here in the third that equalized for Washington. Chimera at even strength, giving them the first lead they've enjoyed in either of these two games here in D.C. Cizikas has the puck. Switch it up. There's DeHaan closing around a sliding Green, who recovers. DeHaan to the goal mouth, just jammed wide. Clutterbuck and Cizikas were all around the crease.
They were so tight to the net, they really couldn't get it up. It was more of a redirection rather than a shot.
Kuznetsov with that great lateral mobility had that one stopped by Halak. Martin carries it back through center, clears it only as far as Orpik. 7.5 to go, regulation time, third. Wisniewski. Nice touch pass to Tavares, and then right to the belly of Grubauer. 4-3 Washington. Hadid shows us the road ahead in this first round series.
Well, the Capitals will head up to Uniondale, Long Island. They'll face off against this Islander team Sunday. It'll be covered nationally on NBC. Tuesday, we'll have the full coverage. It's a 7:30 start. Thursday, back home at the Islanders April 25th, and back home if necessary for Game 7, and we'll have that coverage too.
Islanders control another draw. Wisniewski pumps this one wide. A diving Grubauer anticipated that carom, nudged it away from Kulemin. Strome to Kulemin, then Strome once more. An aerial for Tavares. Fellow captain Alex Ovechkin took it away, went storming after Wisniewski. Orpik will offer to Ward, and he'll clear ahead. Ovechkin crossing over. Wisniewski's able to stave him off. Strome, who delivered for the Islanders in both games here in Washington,
and broke his stick in half on that dump-in slap shot.
He has a slap shot goal tonight. It gave the Islanders at that time a 2-0 advantage. And the Capitals have steadily clawed their way back now to a 4-3 lead. As this one comes all the way down, this will be icing against Washington. Thompson Creek, a window of opportunity, will show you the Caps explode in the third.
Yeah, nice quick up to Nick Backstrom from Carlson. Waltzes between 4 defenders and buries it on the power play. Look at that smile from Nick. And then this on a turnover by Leddy leads to a massive scrum in front of the net. And the Capitals make sure they pay. And Chimera, the go-ahead goal.
Jason's a 16-year pro. He has 9 Stanley Cup playoff goals in his career. Niskanen, uncontested out of his own end. Finds Marcus Johansson, throws it into space. There's Beagle on the run, dodging the hit of Leddy. Jay Beagle captured by Boychuk with 6 minutes to go in the third. Cycle game in effect for Beagle. Boychuk buckled him there. Chimera twists it back. Boychuk just now getting up into your picture. Beagle fires, pad save, Halak. Beagle staying with it. Then Chimera to the corner. Boychuk needs a breather. He'll pound it off the boards, and Oposo will get it out.
Yeah, the Capitals have been very aggressive on the forecheck. So much better than game 1, and really making their D pay the price. They're hammering Boychuk, hammering Leddy, hammering the guys that are the top rung defenseman, and that's going to pay off down this road here as this series moves on.
He's Craig Laughlin. I'm Joe Beninati. Al Koken's our ringside reporter. 5 and change to play. Third period. Eastern Conference first round. Game 2. Islanders have the advantage in the series. They've already stolen home ice. The Capitals are trying to get this series level. A 4-3 advantage. The lead strike provided by Chimera here in the third. Alex Ovechkin with a goal for himself. It came back in the second. This is offside against New York. Stay with us. An exciting conclusion to regulation time. It's all yours on Comcast Sportsnet. In the booth there to your left, Ryan McClellan, Mitch Korn looking on from here at Verizon Center. It's a 4-3 Washington advantage. This evening's Caps player of the game, sponsored by the Palm Restaurant. We're going to go with Nicholas Backstrom.
Fourth career 3+ point playoff game, won 13 and 19 face-offs. The Stars have been alive here in this game tonight.
Enter to be the Palm Fan of the Month at thepalm.com/fan. And enter into the excitement of the final 5 minutes of regulation time here at Verizon Center. Washington and New York. Grabner for Lee as Alzner closed ranks. The puck is off the playing surface for the whistle.
And what a change of atmosphere in this hockey game compared to game 1 for Alzner and the boys. After game 1, Brooks Light said, we've got to give our fans something better to cheer about. Well, they have been cheering their lungs out for Barry Trotz and his team here tonight.
Blocker earlier tonight. Your voice on value is presented by Morgan Franklin Consulting.
Better blue to blue, Joe B, and they have been. That's really been a big part of their game. Navigating through and defending way better than game 1.
Capitals post-game live presented by your DC area Acura dealers. It'll be from the studio. It'll feature Rob Carlin, Alan May, and Brent Johnson. Washington has a 4-3 lead with 4.5 to work. Almost doubling up the Islanders in shots in this game. 35-19 on the shot counter. John Carlson will turn. Use the boards to play it ahead. Out of the grasp of both Ward and Ovechkin. Those two guys go to the bench for the change. Hickey turned back by Beagle. Wisnowski cruising at center. Tavares. Snapshot. As Grubauer got the arm up there on the blocker's side.
He's had his last 2 best chances as Tavares. The Capitals got to shut down their captain, number 91. Don't give him that 3rd chance because he is quite the sniper for this team.
Leddy spins, offers it on the wing. Nielsen cutting to the middle. Off of Bailey's boot. Franz Nielsen to Josh Bailey to the goal mouth that just bounced away from Oposo. Leddy gets into the act with 3.5 to go. Bailey bothered there by Gleason. Green able to juggle that one out of the corner. And it's scooped to safety by Washington's Troy Brouwer.
And now it's all about smart hockey, Joe. And look at the way the Caps are lining up. 1-1-3. They're making sure they have support when the Islanders try to attack here late in the third.
Cizikas and Oposo slicing in there. Kuznetsov will turn them back. 3:08 to go in the third. Keep our eyes on Yaro Halak. See when Jack Capuano will lift him for the extra attacker. Cizikas gets the offensive zone. Gleason is there with a block. Capitals will clear. Ovechkin's on the run. Ovechkin working against DeHaan. Alex Ovechkin off of DeHaan and wide. Ovechkin absorbs a hit. Moves to the outside. Leaves it back behind the cage. Ward is there.
Yeah, making sure everything is below the tops of the circles. You cycle the puck, you kill off the clock.
Backstrom skates it to the point. Chimera sweeps it for Ward. Held there by Straight, no call. Ward for Alzner. Then Chimera. Jason has the lead goal for Washington. It came at 7:37 of the period. Niskanen's in from point position. This will bounce away from Chimera. 2:04 to go. Martin able to get it clear. Alzner will make the Islanders work the full length of the rink, but this is out of play for a whistle.
Yeah, good play by the Capitals, keeping everything down low, preventing the Islanders any type of speed exiting the zone. Capuano looking on, looking down at the time, looking at his roster. Here's his play behind the net. Straight and Wardo all tied up there. The fans wanted a penalty. They didn't get it. And here's what happens when you put that type of heat. Look at the strip of the puck. The Caps are winning pucks in this hockey game. Leads to a cycle which killed off a lot of time and burns the legs of the defenders. Exactly the way you want to play the last 2 minutes here in Game 2.
Joel Ward and the Caps are going to get a lot of help from about 18,000 plus in the stands.
And the key guy is going to be Ward. Right wingers must stay back along with Carlson and Orpik. They have got to be the defense if the Islanders do start the attack.
Halak on for Wisnowski. 4-3 Washington. The Capitals with 2 goals here in the third to rescue the lead back from the Isles. Trying to level this series at 1 apiece. It's a best of 7. Kuhlman off the boot. There's Hickey. Long wrister, knocked down in front. Orpik was there. Capitals do clear.
Surprised Halak has not left this crease. They had pretty good zone time. I'm sure it'll be coming shortly.
Strome works in. Halak to the bench. Tavares to the front. Kuhlman steered it high. Beagle chips it but not out. Niskanen will get it clear. 6 guys on the ice for New York. Almost 7 there, by the way.
Yes.
Lee on the go. Tackled by Fair. Glove save Grubauer. He'll take no chances now with 1:02 to go.
And he's getting love here. The groovy sound of the fans here, loving what he has done against Strome and the Islanders. This is going to be a hectic 62 seconds, my friend. With the Capitals fans, I'm sure every one of them on their feet, the Capitals are going to have to hold down the fort in front of Grubauer.
Islanders have already used their timeout. They're going to ask Franz Nielsen to take the draw. Opposite of Eric Fair for Washington. Wiseman Rasico sets it down. New York has it. Leddy fires. Blocked there by a sliding Beagle. Back behind the cage. Isles have it set. 6 attackers on. Their net is empty. Fair plays it to the boards. Golfed at by Beagle. Didn't get it out. Sharp angle. Grubauer is pinned to the post. Nielsen to the goal mouth. That didn't get through. Oposo drags it back behind the cage. Islanders dangerous here. Final minute of regulation.
Grubauer doesn't have his stick, Joby. It's caught in the back of the netting.
Oposo lost the handle, managed to keep it in. Grubauer still without his goalie stick. Caps get it out. Grubauer has his stick now. Oposo weaves through the traffic. Boychuk now through center. 15 seconds to play. He'll dump it hard around. Orpik is there. Puts on a good crunch. Down to 10 ticks remaining. And this one is cleared over the head of Boychuk. 4 seconds to go. Verizon Center erupts. The Washington Capitals have even this best of 7. 1 game apiece. They down the Isles. Philip Grubauer's a winner. 4-3.
Celebrations begin here at Verizon Center. Way to go, Groovy! First NHL playoff win for Grubauer with Hope Bieling. He seals the deal. The Capitals have tied up the series at 1 apiece.
Fans, remember, the Caps win tonight. You get 50% off any online order tomorrow at papajohns.com. Make sure to use promo code CAPS50. A joyful celebration. All the Caps' big guns getting involved. Nicholas Backstrom a 3-point night. Alex Ovechkin would strike. Philip Grubauer finishes up with 18 saves and a win in replace of an ill Braden Holtby. For Craig, for Al, for all the men and women in our crew, Joe Beninati, thanks for your time. Game 3, Sunday afternoon, 12 noon, Uniondale, New York. Broadcast nationally by NBC. Folks, up next, Capitals postgame live. Rob Carlin, Alan May, and Brent Johnson. Verizon Center loves this one.